Alright, this is going to be kind of a rant. If you don't like cussing, you might not want to watch it because I'm kind of pissed off, actually. So I'm probably going to cuss even though I'm trying not to cuss. And here we go. So for all you law-abiding citizens out there, I would just like to say, get your knee pads out and get down on your knees and do your thing. You all are the problem. You guys create second-class citizens by calling people criminals, although you have to commit a crime in order to be a criminal. And even if you have committed a crime and you are a criminal, you still have rights. Like it or not, you do. And if you don't believe that you do, then you don't believe that you have rights either. You are admitting or saying that you only have privileges if you say, well, that guy lost his right. We now have a federal government that talks to us and they desensitize us to the amounts of money they're spending and giving away to foreign entities, mostly, a lot, not mostly, but a lot, and the unproductive. Most of your tax money goes to pay off foreign countries for peace. Hey, we'll give you this amount of money if you just don't mess with us. A large portion of it goes to the unproductive, so the welfare crew. And I'm not saying that I think there should be a community welfare. I don't think there should be welfare in the sense of welfare as it is today, because what it does is destructive. It's destructive to society, because what happens is, here's what they've done. They've allowed anybody of a certain age to vote, right? Whether they're unproductive or productive, they understand the Constitution, they know what government's position is or how it's supposed to operate, or they even really have any sense of what society or life is for that matter. And they give them a vote. Well, you can be productive, you can get up and go to work every day and bust your ass, start your own company, do whatever it is that you do. And the unproductive will be rewarded for 3 or 4 generations sitting at home doing nothing. We now have 4 generations, in some cases I would say 5 generations of families on welfare. Knock them motherfuckers out of the gene pool. I mean, if you're not willing enough to ensure your own survival, I'm not doing it for you. But at the end of a barrel, government tells you that you must do that. You must pay your taxes or else. It's called extortion. The reason they do this is, in the end, it makes the 1% richer and everybody else poorer. And it allows for control. They create the crime because the lowest 20%, it's verifiable facts, and don't give me that bullshit, it's not. The lowest 20% of the population, when it comes to economics, how much money they make, commit 80% of the crime. So they force you with threats of violence to pay your extortion fees in order to keep this 20% alive, so they will commit 80% of the crime, because then you need the police, right? And we've all been scammed and we keep buying into it. Now, back to the trillions of dollars. They talk about billions and trillions of dollars nonstop. You nonstop hear about it. Biden's new, corporate tax plan that everybody thinks is so good. You have these morons on the left, and here's how stupid people are. Okay, the billionaires are going to have to pay more in taxes. Yay! The billionaires sell everything, dumbasses. They employ everybody. They're the ones that create the products. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to up the price of the product, moron. So in the end, you are going to pay more. Not them, you. They're going to get the same check they pay themselves anyway. And if taxes go up $100, then they're going to divide it up equally between whoever buys their product for that year, and they're going to make that extra $100, and they're going to give it to government. They're going to pay their extortion fee. In the end, it falls on the middle class. That's who it falls on. And now they're trying to destroy the middle class with this whole thing going on everybody knows about that I can't mention, because if I get another strike, I will no longer have a channel. At least not this channel anyway. I do have my other 2 channels, so if you're not there, go subscribe. It just gives me a way to keep in contact with you. And now, at this point in time, when the Revolutionary War started, 85% of the 3 million colonists were Kingsmen. They were Tories. They supported the crown. It is said that less than 3% fought the revolution. Well, that may be true. Maybe less than 3% fired bullets, but there was far more than 3% that fought the revolution. By the end of the war, the Tories were down in the single-digit numbers. Everybody had decided that freedom was best, because they started opening their eyes to what was really happening. those times, the military, the redcoats, were the fighting force to protect the country and go steal land, because that's what happened at the time. They didn't steal land; they won it through force and violence, war. But they were also the policing forces. What our country did, and the elite did. Like I said, they're not thinking in days and months and years. They're thinking in decades and centuries and millennia ahead of time. It's about, how do I make my grandchildren, 5-6 times removed, multimillionaires now. But what they did is they separated the military's powers. Well, instead of you having to defend the country, let's just say that's all our military does, which it doesn't. I'll get to that in a second. Instead of you having to defend the country and police the people, we're going to split these powers up. Why do you think they call cops? Why do you think they call themselves officers? Ever heard that term used anywhere else? Where? The military. They are literally a standing army, and a standing army and the military are not the same thing. But they, when we defeated the redcoats, the idea was that the people police ourselves. We have common law courts. We have a sheriff, but the sheriff didn't actually have any arresting powers without the people. So if somebody pissed the sheriff off, the sheriff couldn't go arrest them. He had to deputize members of the militia to go arrest that person with him. He couldn't just do it on his own. That's how people remain free, because if that person commits a crime, the sheriff, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the sheriff gets a warrant, deputizes a member of the militias, they go arrest that person. At the end of that, all that deputization is negated. Everybody is then equal again. Nobody rules over each other. Now, immediately after the Constitution was drafted and signed, closely following up to that, we had a bunch of stuff happen. We had the Whiskey Rebellion as an example, where George Washington was shown to be a tyrant. The thing about power in government is, whether it's intentional or not, all government seeks is power. Now we have a whole population of clowns that put all the power into the presidency, and that's why you see the back and forth fight about Biden and Trump and all that bull crap, because they've given that position so much power. When it didn't have it, but now they believe it does. That's why the president can create executive orders that you are told that you have to follow, when his orders are only valid to those that are employed by the executive branch. People have no idea how our government was designed to operate, the jurisdictions of our government. Local, state, and federal. The federal government, not even Congress, has the jurisdiction to create a national sweeping law, but they do. You know why they do? Because you believe that they do have the power to do that. Whether or not the law is constitutional or not, you look at it like it doesn't matter. On a large scale, if everybody knew that Congress didn't have that power, do you think Congress would be doing that? Maybe today. You know why? Because they created a standing army that not only enforces their rule on us, it protects them. Why? Because they created the laws making it illegal for you to enforce the Constitution. And then you want to bring in the whole corporate argument. The Organic Act of 1871. Like, we are literally property. And you can argue and say that we're not all day long. All the evidence says otherwise. Go read it. Go read the whole Organic Act. And I know it was repealed, but guess what? They came back in 1878. We are literally corporate property. That's why they can come take your kids from you. You don't go to jail for breaking the law. You go to jail for breaking the policy. Our government was never supposed to create laws that restrict the people. When they say this is a nation of laws, it's a nation of laws against government. That's what that really meant. Research it. That's what it really meant. People now believe it's a nation of laws that government has made against the people. And the fact is that good men don't need laws and bad men don't follow them. So what's the point of laws? If it was a common law, we all would know. Don't kill nobody. Don't steal nobody's shit. Don't assault nobody. Don't commit any immoral acts, right? Well, no, they want to do all this other shit. Then, if you do something that your masters say you cannot, they will convict you of a crime and then say you no longer have the right. And people bought into it. It was even a good idea. Yes, let's take those violent felons' guns away. And look where that led to. Now they're taking your guns away. You agreed with it in the beginning. You know, that's why they threw that in the 1934 in the NFA. Is because they didn't think they would have the support to enact the NFA without throwing shit like that in there. And the NFA wasn't supposed to be about anything that it is. It was originally handguns were on the NFA, and they didn't think they could get it through with handguns on it, so they pulled them off the NFA. But you're about to see more NFA action because old Joey B is going to sign some executive orders and make things real interesting. And if you comply with those executive orders, if you bury your shit in your back, now hold on, if you only got one rifle and you bury your shit in your backyard, you're a clown. Sell it to give it to somebody that'll do something with it. Now, if you got 10 or 12 rifles, I understand spacing them out, putting some over here, putting some over there, just in case. I get it. Don't be a pussy though. Pussy doesn't buy freedom, especially when it's a mangina. Blood and lives. That's the cost of freedom. Always been the cost of freedom. It will forever be the cost of freedom. And you have to be willing to pay the price and accept it. And that's it. There's no voting going to get us out of this mess. There's no amount of fiat currency going to get us out of this mess, which I'm sure those with the most fiat currency right now are investing in hard assets, as we know. I mean, they have Bill Gates has bought 250,000 acres of land. I mean, like, we see it all happening. We all just stand back because nobody wants to be that guy. Nobody. Hey, I get it. I get it. I don't want to be that guy either. But we can be those men. We can do it together. But then, okay, now the question becomes, who do you fight? Who's the real enemy? Is the enemy the guy? Is the enemy the guy giving the orders, or the person kicking in your door immorally and executing those orders? The founders could have sent one person over to kill King George. They didn't. You know why? Number one, they just wanted a peaceful separation. But number two, they just knew somebody would take his place. Somebody move up to his spot and things would just keep going how they are. Which is where we're at today. So they fought the largest military force on the planet. And they had enough heart to know that life is not worth living if you can't be free. And being free to do as you're told is not freedom. That's slavery. The slaves were free to do as they were told. It's slavery, Jack. But people fail to recognize it. They just want to, we spend however many 17,000 hours in a public indoctrination camp, after which we go spend a bunch of money on some type of schooling that we should have been taught in our public indoctrination camp, if not. I'm sorry. That we should have been, there's no reason why every high school in this country is not a vocational school. That way, if you decide not to go to college, you at least have a trade. I mean, you think you take 2 or 3 hours a day, 3 hours a day for the last 2 years of high school, and teach somebody something. Teach them how to weld, be an electrician, HVAC, whatever it is. People right now, there's a lot of people who don't have jobs. I'm included on that. There's a reason I don't have a job right now. And I'm sure there's a reason for everybody. The number one reason I'm trying to move. The number two reason is that it's insurance. Is kind of, I'm still under the insurance. Once I fall into the socialist plan, I won't be as it really doesn't matter. It's falling apart at the seams at this point. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Me not accepting unemployment is not going to stop what's going on. All of us, if everybody today decided we're not going to accept unemployment, it still wouldn't stop what's happening. The snowball's too big, it's too far down the hill. It's rolling too fast. Like we are in dire need of like-minded people to be really close together. Because if not, we're all going to hang separately. And we're not going to hang someone. We're going to die from a government-issued bullet that we paid for. You know, they've tricked us into, not really tricked us, they've extorted us into paying for the very tools they will use to commit immoral acts against fucking humanity. And it's sickening. And then you see these jackasses that praise these bastards. I can't help but grin when I see on the news that some cop was killed. No, I guess he shouldn't have been violating people's rights. Should have chose a different career path. But we've been brought up to believe that that's honorable and that they're our friends. And every single problem you have with government stops with a badge. Everyone. We've done this before. Name one that doesn't. Tell me one problem you have with government that a badge is not involved along the way. And I know Matt kiss my ass socialists, don't try it. I proved it last time. A badge was behind that too. But like, you know, there's people that I was talking to somebody today and said, you know, we have enough equity in our home, we can buy 2 homes in Tennessee. What good's 2 homes going to do for you? It's time to get away from everything like this shit. Right now, I'm on my way to Dayton. I have to go help somebody up here. I might swing by and see my little buddy Matt, kiss my ass socialist if I got time. And but it's time to get away from this stuff. You know, and like if I can do it, anybody can do it. I am starting at zero, literally zero. Like I virtually have no money saved up. What worth we have is in our home. That was fortunately, you know, I acquired it the way I did. That's it. But we're going to try to do it at a zero cost basis, meaning we're going to try to go buy land and maybe do it on like a land contract or something, for the simple fact to show people it can be done. You don't have to have money. Don't be scared to take that plunge, man. Just do it. Worst case scenario, you wind up homeless in a better place. Who cares? Being homeless actually ain't that bad. You ain't got to worry about no bills. I've been there. I was homeless for a long time. Partially by choice, not direct choice, but indirect choices. But it was still my choice. I made the choices that put me there, so it was my choice. We now become a country that accepts abortion as, you know, you can abort your newborn baby. Or it's immoral and evil. We now are selling gym shoes where it's like a total satanic ritual, which whatever, they want to do their thing, more power to them. But you ain't allowed to go to church, are you? But they were allowed to be in their place of employment to however many's there to make those shoes. They never stopped Amazon from shipping, you know, overnight shipping when the thing would stay alive on surfaces for more than 72 hours. But they made all the little bit businesses shut down, a lot of which, like 40%, are never coming back. We got a new digital currency coming in, but allegedly next month. We'll see if it happens. I'm sure it will. We're getting poorer every second as they get richer. And money is power because money buys people off. We just heard about this senator. That was the only like Democratic senator that said he wasn't going to, you know, he'd vote against destroying the filibuster. You know, now his wife has a, you know, $200,000 job under the Biden administration. Yeah, I wonder how he's going to be voting now. You got bribed with your money. All these bastards are evil, and they're domestic terrorists, all of them. And a lot of it is just plain ignorance. I think all cops would remain cops if they knew the truth. Maybe not. I would like to think not. Only because they're human. But they're also royal pieces of shit that accepted a job just to have power over people. It's not about helping the community. Oh, that's another thing. The quote-unquote gun community, pro-Second Ed community, right to keep and bear arms community, whatever you want to call it, pro-rights community. A fine example of this community will be Guns and Gadgets, who Johnny B says don't take part in GoFundMe's, yet he didn't have a problem with the GoFundMe when his old daddy died and mommy needed some money, did he? He didn't. He raised over $100,000 for that, and yes, I donated to that. I think I even asked you all to donate to it. Because I have empathy for people. Especially if they say they're in the community. But he has proven he is not. He's, him and Johnny B did a ton of damage to the GoFundMe that started for Justin. But anyway, back to the community. $300,000 should have been easy to achieve. Easy to achieve. If you go look on the GoFundMe, there's multiple people, $100, $200, $250, $500, $700, $1,000. And we're still at the low $30,000 mark, I believe, last time I checked. If every one of his subs, 100,000 people is not a lot of people, but if every one of his subs donated $4, that'd be the $300,000, because you got to give GoFundMe something. And if you're the guy saying, I'm not supporting GoFundMe, we'll send it another way. Cloma Resale was Matt's store. You know that? Mail him a damn money order. How many people's going to do that? None. It's an excuse. $38,000. And like, I'm very grateful for everybody that's donated, don't get me wrong. Like, I know there are people out there that are down, that are pro-freedom, that know it's complete bullshit, but it ain't that fucker Johnny B, and it sure shit ain't that son of a bitch Guns and Gadgets. And yeah, your mama is a bitch, Guns and Gadgets. What you think about that? Can get you some, fat boy. And then you have Good Old Boy 32, who we know knows about this, because I talked to him about it. Instead of promoting the auto key card, Justin GoFundMe to help get Justin out of jail, because Justin's sitting his ass in jail for Coda Boy, for me, for Guns and Gadgets, for Johnny B. He promotes Justin's last operation or something like that. Some vet that killed himself. And they're doing some kind of thing to do some kind of thing. Okay, like, I get it. Here's two things. Number one, they can go to the VA, it's 100% paid for, and talk their problems out. Number two, if somebody's going to kill themselves, who's going to do it, you're not going to make it, you're not going to change their mind. It's just the way it is. But at this time, it was more important not only to promote that GoFundMe, but to donate a rifle to be raffled off in order to help that cause. Why? Because he was in the military. Hoorah. And they take their oath seriously, and they're brothers, right? Well, what about your fucking brothers whose rights are being violated right now? And because of their rights are being violated, so are yours. And they're the ones sitting in jail paying for it. And that's what's happening right now with Justin. You can say it's not, but it is. Like, I'm so sickened by these large channels. They're pieces of shit. It's about money. It's saving face to make some more money. Well, if I tell everybody to donate to this, they might not like it, so I'm going to lose a subscriber or two. Then that affects my pocket. But if I tell them to donate to this, I look like a good guy. Even though it ain't going to do shit. It's unbelievable. And the reason I brought the people that will donate so much money is because if I donated $1,000, which I didn't, I only donated $100 because that's all I had to donate at the time. Like, I need to donate more. But if I donated $300 for, as an example, I took the place of 99 other people that didn't have to donate out of that 100,000. So think how many small people, I don't know how many donated, haven't looked. But it's just, there's no community, man. It's the best chance you have, I have, is if we just realize that it's all, there's no bringing it back. People are pieces of shit. They're evil. They're selfish, especially when it comes to the bastards in government. And we go somewhere build a big imaginary wall around our fortress. And then if anybody comes in, treat them as they deserve to be treated. No trespassers allowed. All will be assumed to be a deadly threat. And if not, they're just going to pick us off one at a time. We're losing the game, people. Doesn't mean we can't win it.